Today, platypuses in phonics, we are going to be adding the suffix and the est suffix to adjectives, and we're going to learn the spelling rule for how to do this. So the first rule that we're going to look at is just adding okay? So let's go through some of the examples together. So if you have the word quick and you add it becomes quicker. If you have the word great and you add it becomes greater. If you have the word full and add it becomes fuller. If you have the word bright and add er, it becomes brighter. And then if you have the word tall and add er, it becomes taller. Now, for these words, all you need to do is add er to the root word, okay? And there are some other rules just to help you know when to do this, and it is to do with the long or the short vowel sounds. Now, if you need to recap on the long or the short vowel sounds, you can go onto Spelling Play and you can play the long or short game, and that will help you to spot the long and short vowel phonemes, okay? We've done this in class together before, but it might be helpful for you to go and have a play of that game, okay? I will put the link with your work for today, phonics. So some of these do have long vowel sounds. So for instance, the word great, the A sound in the middle, so great, has a long vowel sound, and the word bright, so the I sound in bright has a long vowel sound. So for words that have long vowel sounds in them, you just add er, okay? Now some of them will have short vowel sounds. Now short vowel sounds are those vowel sounds like I or a or o. Can you see the difference between that and I or a? Do you see how they sound? Okay, so for instance, the word quick has a short vowel sound. The I is a short vowel sound, and then it is after that it has got two consonants. So the C and the K are two consonants, and it's also a one-syllable word. Okay, it's the same for full. Okay, the sound is a short vowel sound. It is followed by two consonants, which are the two L's, and it is also a short vowel sound. It's also, a one-syllable word. Okay, so that will also help you that when you get words like that, then you know that you just need to add the suffix without changing anything. So let's have a go at adding to these words. So you will need your paper and your pencil. So I want you to add to cold. Okay, so add to cold. Have a go, and then we're going to check them together. So you should have colder. Now, if you need more time when you're doing this, just remember to pause the video, okay? So the next one is short. You need to add to short. You should have shorter, about like this. Okay, the next one is slow. You need to add okay, so you should have slower. High, add to it, and you should have it spelled higher like this. Okay, did you get them all right? Remember, at any time you can pause the video if you need a bit more time. Okay, well done. Right, now we are adding not only the suffix, but we're also adding the est suffix. So spelled est. Now it's just as easy to add the s to these words as it was with the suffix. So you can see that cold will become colder and then coldest. So it's exactly the same. We just add or we just add est. Okay, it's the same for short. We added okay, and for est, again, we just put short and we add est. Okay, it's going to be the same for slow. We just added and then we add est as well if we want to do slowest. And it's the same for high. We added the suffix and it is exactly the same for the est suffix. The same rule applies. So let's move on to another one. Now we're going to look at words, adjectives that end in E. Okay, so words ending in E are a bit more tricky, but I know that you'll be able to do it. So let's have a look at our first example. Okay, can you see here? So this word is late, okay? And then we need to add the suffix to it. And I want you to have a look. Did you see what happened there? I'm going to give you another example. Okay, we have the word fine. We need to add the suffix and look at what happens. Can you see what is happening? Did you see the way that we need to drop the E before we add the suffix? So the E dropped out of late and we add ER, which becomes later. The E dropped out of fine, then we add the suffix and it becomes finer. So here we go. If a word ends in E, you must drop the E before adding ER. That's the next rule. So let's have a go at adding to these words. So cute, okay? I want you to make it into cuter by adding the suffix. Remember to drop the E and add ER. So have a go, write it down. Remember, at any time if you need to pause the video, that's fine. Okay, can you see how it's spelled? Okay, and I'd like you to do the same for large. Remember that you are dropping the E and adding ER. Now it becomes larger. Okay, the next one is nice. Remember the rule. Try it out. Write it down. And you needed to drop the E and add ER. Did you get all of these right? Okay, brilliant. Okay, now let's have a look at adding the S. It's the same rule, so it's just as easy to add S to these words. So cute, we had cuter, we dropped the E and added ER, and it is the same to make cutest. So we dropped the E and we added est, E-S-T. It is the same for large. We dropped the E, added and it's the same for largest. Drop the E, add est. Okay, exactly the same applies to nice. Every time you just drop the E and you add either the suffix or the est suffix. Okay, let's move on to the next rule. This time we're going to look at adjectives that end in a Y. Now you have already looked at suffixes and looked at a rule when we were adding the ES suffix and we were looking at words that ended in Y. I wonder if it's the same. Let's have a look. Now again, these can be a bit tricky. Let's have a look at the first example. So we have the word lonely and we want to change it to lonelier, okay, by adding the suffix. Let's have a look what happens. Oh, can you see? Let's look at the next example. Okay, this word is noisy and we want to make it to noisier. Let's see what happens. Did you see what happens? Okay, did you see that we change the Y into I and then we add the suffix, okay? And it was the same for noisy. We changed the Y, into I and added the suffix, okay? So the rule is if a word ends in a Y, you must change the Y into an I before adding Let's have a go at adding to these words. Okay, so the word is happy. Okay, I want you to change it into happier. Remember, change the Y into I and add the suffix. So have a go at writing that down. Remember, if you need to pause the video, that's fine. Okay, and there you go, happier. The next one is silly. Same rule applies. Have a go. And it will become sillier. Okay, this word is easy. We need to change the Y into an I and add ER, so it will become easier. Okay, now the same rule applies to add in est, it's just as easy to add s to these words. So happy, happier, happiest. Okay, every time we just change the y to an I and add either the er suffix, suffix, or the est suffix, est suffix. Okay, the next one is silly, sillier, and silliest. Okay, the next one is easy, easier, easiest. Okay, exactly the same rule applies to the suffix and the s suffix. Okay, let's move on. So this time we're going to be looking at adding and s to adjectives that end in one vowel and one consonant. Can you remember what the vowels are? Can you say them? Remember the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. Okay, so some adjectives need to add an extra letter when adding Okay, so slim, we want to change it to slimmer. Can you see what's happened? Okay, we have doubled the consonant at the end. Okay, it's now got it has two M's instead of one M, and then we add ER, the suffix. Okay, the same for flat, we need to change, well, actually we don't need to change anything, we just need to double the consonant at the end, so we have two T's instead of one, and then we add the suffix. So if a word ends in just one vowel and one consonant, you must add the same consonant before adding so you double the consonant. The vowel in slim is I, that's the vowel sound, that's the I, and flat is the A, and it makes the sound, okay? Okay, have a go adding to these words. Fat becomes fatter. Hot becomes hotter. Can you see what's happening? Every time we are doubling the consonant, okay? It has a vowel and it has a consonant. Okay. Now, remember that there are just some exceptions to the rule. There are a few exceptions to this rule. If the consonant is a W, you do not add an extra consonant. Sometimes when we are learning spelling rules, the rules don't apply to all words, okay? That just sometimes happens, so just be aware of that. If you come across a word, if the consonant is a W, you do not add an extra consonant. Okay, the same thing applies if we're adding an S suffix. So remember fat, fatter, fattest. Can you see that the consonant has been doubled? And it's the same for hot, hotter, hottest, and thin, thinner, and thinnest. Can you see that the consonant has been doubled here? Okay, so remember, these are the rules. Most words you just add or est. Words ending in E, drop the E before adding or est. Words ending in Y, change the Y into an I before adding or est. And words that end with one vowel and one consonant need a double letter, so you're doubling the consonant before adding or est. And just remember that exception to the rule. Okay, I hope that you understood that well, and don't forget, just have a practice if you weren't sure of any.